So we are discussing Flow Designer topic, guys. So the Flow Designer is actually a low-code platform which is used to automate the process, which can be also used as business tool, which can be also used as scheduled job, which can also be used as inbound email action, which can also be used as workflow, which can also be used as transform map, which can also be used as integration hub. So, which is actually a powerful feature that is introduced in ServiceNow around 3 years ago. And most of the organization, they started using Flow Designer for their automation process and all. Okay, it's a low-code platform, right, where we don't have to write much scripting. Then Flow Designer is actually recommended here. So in the Flow Designer, you have two things. So you have three components majorly: flow, action, and subflow. Well, here in the flow, you will see trigger. In the flow, you will see trigger. In the action, you can see inputs and outputs. Inputs and outputs. Okay. In the subflow also, you can see inputs and outputs. Okay. This flow is actually the main part. This flow is the main part. In the Flow Designer, you can call the actions, you can call the subflows. Okay. In the Flow Designer, you can call the actions, you can call the subflows. Okay. Yesterday, we created Flow Designers. Okay. We created this flow designer where you have selected the trigger as created. If you select created, updated, created or updated, it will act as business rule. It will act as business rule. Okay. Remember this point, guys. If you select a trigger point as created, updated, created or updated, it will act as business rule. So after you selecting the trigger point, you can also select some advanced options here. After selecting all these advanced options, so this is where you can see action here. Okay. So you have selected a action called create record action. So create record is an action. Without using glide record, you can actually create a record using create record action. Update record action. So without using glide record, you can actually update a record using update record action. Okay, let me just click on edit flow here. So where you can actually call the action, you can call the action from here, you can call the subflow from here. This flow logic is like a JavaScript logic: if condition, else part, else if part, for loop, while loop. So for each means it's like a while loop. Okay. So these are like JavaScript logics. Okay. So these are actually flow logics. In the actions part, you can call the actions, you can use flow logics, you can call the subflows here. Okay. So this is what we have discussed in our last session. And we have discussed about how the flow designer will act as scheduled job. So in the trigger, I have selected daily. I have selected daily. So daily, weekly, monthly, run once, repeat. So this is like the flow designer will work as scheduled job. So here, usually, normally we write a glide record to read the records. To query the records, we'll use glide record. So instead of using glide record, I'm using lookup records. So lookup records will actually query the records from the table, and using for each flow logic, you can loop through each record. And we have created a custom action. That is actually difference between 2 days. So we have created a custom action. In this custom action, you can pass the input as a date. You can get the response as days in difference in seconds. So here you will pass the date as an input, and you will get the response as difference in seconds. So here what you are doing, if the difference in seconds is greater than seconds, right? 5 days in seconds you have to mention. 5 days in seconds. Okay. If the difference is greater than 5 days, it will actually send an email notification using send notification activity. One day in seconds. Okay. We'll use 5 days in seconds. Okay. Using send notification activity. In the send notification activity, you can use the system notifications here. That system notification, this system notification send when should be triggered, you have to select in the system notification. Okay. You see here, this is actually email notification, system email notification, where send when should be triggered here. Only when you select it triggered here, you can Flow Designer can send that email. So this is what we understand in our last session, guys. Okay, this is what we understand in our last session. Now, in today's session, we'll understand how the Flow Designer will work as inbound email action. How the Flow Designer will work as inbound email action. Creating a new Flow Designer. Create incident from email. When we send an email to ServiceNow will receive that email, right? Do you remember inbound email concept in inbound email action concept? Do you remember inbound email action concept? How many of you remember inbound email action concept? Inbound email action concept. Do you remember or not, guys? Hmm? Do you remember inbound email action concept, guys? You forgot already? Hmm? You forgot already inbound email actions. So when we send an email to ServiceNow receives that email. You can go to the email properties. In the email properties, you can see when this checkbox is checked. When this checkbox is checked, what happens? Whenever you send an email to ServiceNow receives that email. After receiving that email, you can find that email in the email logs. Okay, you can find that email in the email log. Okay, so here you can see the type as received. Here you can see that the type as received here. Okay. So when we receive the email, what happens? Immediately inbound actions will run. Inbound actions will run. We already discussed about inbound action. These actions will run. So instead of using this inbound email actions, writing the script, you can use Flow Designer. You can select the trigger as inbound email. So where you can actually keep the condition here. Subject contains, okay, create incident. Okay. So here you can see you can use actions here. Create record. Create record without using glide record. To create the record, we will use create record action. I want to create incident record. Incident record. And here short description. I want to keep email subject as short description. So you can see here you will get the email record values. So email subject. Email subject. So email subject you will get it. Email subject you will get, you are passing in the short description. Description. Email body text I want to pass it into the description. Okay. And here caller value I want to pass it as user record. Okay. And category. So category value I want to set a static value. I want to set the category value as static value. Okay, subcategory value. You can keep this one. Okay. Well, if you want to write the script here in the fields, okay, let us take. I want to keep the short description. I want to keep the configuration item field value. Okay. Instead of setting the field value, you can use the script option here. Script option. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just using return the system ID of the configuration item I'm taking here. System ID of the configuration item I'm taking here. Instead of directly selecting the configuration item, what I have done, I have written some script. You can write any server side script here, guys. Okay, you can write any server side script here. Okay, you can write glide record here. You can write glide aggregate here, glide record secure here, glide date time, glide schedule, glide duration. You can write any server side script here. Finally, whatever the value that you want to keep it in the subcategory field, that you will pass it in the return line. Whatever you keep it in the return, that will be passed as an output. Okay, that will be passed as output. Okay. Fine. So here, guys, normally we are actually dragging the data pill something like this one, right? Normally we are dragging the data pill something like this one. So you will drag the data pill something like this one, right? So if you want to get the data pill values using scripting, you can use fd underscore data, fd underscore data dot fd underscore data dot. If you want to trigger, if you want to trigger value, you will select a trigger. So no, you don't want trigger value. Okay, you want create record. Mm, okay, you have only trigger available here. That is why it is only showing trigger. If there is any other action available, that it will show that action values as well. Trigger dot trigger dot uh, subject. Okay. So let me just keep it here. So here in the short description, instead of dot working it, what I am doing is I am using script here, return fd underscore data dot trigger dot subject. So you can also dot work something like this one. You are getting my point, everyone. Hmm? Guys, is that clear or not? Okay. Then you can actually click on do here, done here, and click on activate. Okay. Okay. So whenever you send an email to ServiceNow, ServiceNow receives that email. If that email subject has create incident, if that email subject has create incident, this inbound email action, this flow designer will run. It will create the incident record. Okay. So after creating the incident record, you have to map that incident record with the email. You have to map that incident record with the email. Okay. Associate record to email. Associate record to email. So I want to associate to this particular email record to this particular incident record. Okay, this particular incident record. So that what happens whenever ServiceNow receives an email, it will actually trigger this inbound email action. This incident record will be created. Whatever the incident that is created, that incident will be associated to the received email. Okay, associate a record with the email record so that you can track the record affected by the. Okay, so you can activate this one. Okay. So likewise, the inbound email actions work in the flow designer, guys. You have to select the trigger point as inbound email because inbound email actions won't work in the personal developer instance. We won't be able to test it here, guys. Okay, we won't be able to test it here. Suppose, guys, whenever we send an email, ServiceNow receives that email. After receiving that email, so instead of Flow Designer, first inbound actions will run. After inbound actions, finally this Flow Designers will run. So inbound action versus inbound action versus flow. Okay. So I would like to know which has highest priority to execute inbound email action or inbound email flow. Okay, there is an answer here. The execution order of the inbound email flows takes higher precedence. Okay, inbound email flows takes higher precedence than the inbound actions. So that if email flow executes, that prevents execution of inbound actions. Okay, if an email flow executes, okay, it prevents execution of inbound actions. Okay, the execution order of the inbound email flows takes higher precedence than inbound actions. So what exactly it is telling? Whenever we send an email, ServiceNow receives that email. First, inbound email flow will run. Inbound email flow will run, and it will actually, once the inbound email flow is executed, it will stop there. Okay. The user who sends email have necessary role to perform operations specified in the flow, or operation will stop. So what exactly it is telling? The execution order in the inbound email flows takes higher precedence. Higher precedence means first inbound email flow will run. Flow designer will run first. That is what it is mentioned here. Then after that, inbound actions will run. In that case, if it email flows execute, it prevents execution of inbound action. That means suppose if the email flow executed, it will stop running the inbound actions. Hope you understand, guys. Everyone. Okay, fine. Now we will understand how the flow designer will work as um, SLA task. SLA task means we discussed about SLA definitions, guys. SLA definitions. So incident response SLA, incident resolution SLA. If you go to the incident resolution SLA, okay, here you can attach a flow designer here in the SLA definition. So in the SLA definition, you can attach a flow designer here. So this is the place where you can actually attach a flow designer. So what exactly this flow designer does? Okay, let me open this particular flow designer. So this flow designer trigger type is SLA task here. If you just closely observe here, okay. So here you can see the trigger type of the flow designer is SLA task here. SLA task. Okay. First of all, what it does, it will wait for the 50% SLA is completed. Suppose what is the SLA of this particular SLA definition? 1 day. So 1 day means let us say 12 hours are completed. So it will wait for 12 hours to complete. So once 12 hours are completed, Okay. Then what happens? It will actually send an email. It will send an email. Once 75% of the SLA is completed, it will actually send an email. Okay. Okay. Once SLA has breached, wait for condition. Has breached true. So once has breached has become true, then what happens here? We are actually sending an email to assign to manager. Okay. So we are actually sending an email to assign to manager. Once see here what is happening in the 1 day time, 12 hours completed means it is sending one email. Okay, it is sending an email to assign to. If 75% SLA is completed, 75% means 18 hours. So once 18 hours are completed, it is actually sending another email to assign to. Okay. Once 100% is completed, it is sending an email to the assign to manager. It is sending an email to assign to manager. So it is like a warning and escalation, guys. Okay, to give the warnings, to give the escalations, to give the warnings and escalations, we can use this SLA task type trigger. Okay. So here you can see the trigger point is action is SLA percentage timer. SLA percentage timer. Okay, you can select the action that is actually SLA percentage timer. Okay. You can see here, guys, the SLA trigger, the flow designer trigger type is SLA task. So when you select SLA task, you can actually attach that flow designer to the SLA definitions. You can attach that flow designer to the SLA definitions. Hope you understand. Why do we use that SLA task flow designer and all? Everyone? Hmm? Everyone? Answer me, guys. Okay. Okay, fine. Now we will understand. Now we will understand another trigger type here. We'll understand another trigger type. That is actually service catalog trigger type. Okay, that is actually service catalog trigger type. Okay, resignation form. Resignation form. Okay, so we can create this. We can create this. So the trigger point here, you are selecting here as service catalog, guys. You are selecting here as service catalog. Okay, so you can attach this flow designer for a service catalog. Okay. So here, first of all, you have to choose action called get catalog variables. Okay. So you can just select the requested item record. Okay. What is the catalog item name? The catalog item name here is resignation form. Okay. You can just pull all the variables to right side. So here you don't have to use current.variables.variable name. So here you don't have to use current.variables.variable name, guys. Here you can use this data pills. Okay. Requested by um requested by resignation reason. Do you have offer from another company? How is your experience working with this company? Personal emails, attached resignation email. Okay, these all are actually data pills. So here you don't have to use current dot variables dot variable name. You can use this data pills. Okay. So here what I am doing is I am using flow logic if condition. If requested by has a department or not. Okay. So data pills are generated automatically. Okay. Data pills are generated automatically. We don't create them. Okay. Requested by has department or not, we have to check. Requested by is a reference field, right? We can dot work it. Department. So requested by department is not empty. If the requested by department is not empty. So that is actually if part. And we have to provide else part as well. We have to write else part as well. Okay. And here, if department is there, what we have to do? We have to send an approval, right? So for approval, you have an action called ask for approval action. Ask for approval. Okay. So here you can choose ask for approval. For which record this particular requested item, right? So you have to drag this requested item. And here approve or reject, approve or reject. And here all approve or reject or all responded and anyone approves. So here what I am doing is anyone approves or rejects. Okay. So here what I have to do, I have to provide the person who has to approve. Department head has to approve, right? Then requested by requested by department department head. You can drag this one here. Okay. What happens if the requested by has department? It will send an approval to the department head. Okay. If he approves, okay. If department head approves, if department head approves, so you can choose approval state as approved. Okay. Then what I want to do, I want to create the catalog task. Create catalog task. You can use create catalog task here. So you can just drag the requested item record here. You are associating this catalog task to the. So if you want to wait for the flow designer to complete the catalog task, you have to check this wait checkbox. If you want to show the variables on the catalog, if you want to show the catalog variables on the catalog task, you have to choose the uh, catalog item name here, resignation form. So I want to show the variables on the catalog form. I'm choosing this one. I'm actually moving to the right side. Okay. So here I'm filling the short description field value. Okay. Laptop task. Okay. You can fill other field values as well. So well here in the workflow, you have to use task.field name. Task.field name. You don't have to use task.field names, guys. Here you can use description. Okay. You can use description. You can use configuration item. Category. Not category. priority. Okay. So once the task is closed, it will come forward. Okay. Once the task is closed, it will come forward. We can send the email. So using send email, we can compose the email and send. Using send email, we can compose the email send, and using send notification, okay, you can attach the requested item. Okay, you can actually take one. So whose trigger type is the system notifications trigger type is triggered, guys. So that is why we are able to send the email notification. After sending the email, we have to close the requested item. To close the requested item, we have to use update record method, update record action. In the update record action, what we want to update requested item, where state is set as closed complete. Okay. So what if he has no department? So we have to keep the requested item as closed incomplete. So we have to send notification. Okay. And we have to keep the requested item as closed incomplete. Okay. And what if department head rejects? Again, you have to update the record. Okay. Update record. So before that, I have to send an email, right? So what am I doing is I'm creating a subflow here. Let me create a subflow. Okay. I am creating a subflow here. Well, what is the difference between action and subflow is that action is set of steps, set of steps. Here subflow is set of actions. Okay. Action is set of steps and subflow is set of actions. Remember this point, guys. Action is set of steps and subflow is set of actions. So what I'm doing is I'm actually creating a subflow here. Why is it not opening subflow? Okay, we'll finish this one and we'll work on it. So here in the flow designer, there should be an ending. There should be an ending here. So you have to use end here, end flow. Okay. Here also there should be an ending here. That is important in the end flow. This end flow is only for service catalogs, guys. This end flow is only for service catalogs. Okay. Save this one. Activate this one. Okay. So what I do, I'll go to the catalog items. I'll attach this workflow. I will attach this flow designer. In place of this workflow, I am attaching the flow designer. Okay. Let us now try to submit this form. You'll just click on order now. Now the flow designer will be attached to the requested item. Flow designer will be attached to the requested item. The flow designer should send an approval to, hasn't sent any approval. It has sent an approval to the this person. So once he approves it, it will actually a task will be created. So once it is approved, the task will be created. You can see task is created or not. So once this task is closed, once this task is closed, what happens? The request item will be closed. The request item is closed. Okay. So this flow designer is running in the backend. In place of workflow, what we have done, we have used a flow designer. Okay. In place of workflow, what we have done, we have used a flow designer here. Okay. Just a moment, guys. This flow designer. Okay. So here, if you see here, these two are actually repeated tasks. This send notification, update record, update requested item record. These are repeated, right? So these two are repeated. Instead of this one, what I am doing is I am just using one subflow. I am just creating one subflow here. Update requested item. Okay, input should be here. You have to provide the input and output. So input here is requested item. Requested item. It's a reference to it's a mandatory one. Okay. And here subflow is set of actions. I told you, right? Here send notification. Send notification on the requested item. Okay. Here we have to update the record. Requested item as treated as closed incomplete. Okay. Flow logic. This end flow is not working. So end flow we have to separately mention. Okay. So what I'm doing is I have actually created one subflow for these two actions. For these two actions, I have created a subflow. Let me just publish this one. Let me publish this one. So after creating the subflow, what I am doing is I am going to the flow designer that I created. I am going to this flow designer. Okay. So instead of these two actions, I am removing these two actions here. Edit flow. Instead of these two actions, we have to use. You have to use. You have to call a subflow. So requested item number, you have to pass it here. Okay. So wait for completion. Okay, you have to wait for complete the subflow. So what I have done, instead of using two activities, I have created a subflow. I call that subflow here. Okay, instead of creating, so here what I'm doing is I'm going to remove these two actions from here. Okay. So here what I'm doing is I'm just calling the subflow here. Oh, update requested item. So here in this requested item, you have to pass the requested item system ID. Okay. So then it will actually, so instead of writing same actions, what we have done, we have created one subflow. We are calling that subflow here. Okay. Do you understand why am I using subflow here? Guys, here actions also use inputs and outputs. Actions use inputs and outputs. But action is set of steps. Action is set of steps. Subflow also use inputs and outputs. But subflow is set of actions. You can see here in the subflow, we have used two actions here. But if you take a look at the action, In the action, you will see steps. Okay. So let us take this one. So in the action, you can see step. These are called steps. Okay. There is one step. You can add multiple steps here. You can add multiple steps here. So action is set of steps and subflow is set of actions. So you can call actions and subflows in the flow designer, guys. Okay. So in the flow designer, you can call the action. In the action, you can pass inputs and you can get the output. So similarly, in the subflow also, you can pass the input. Here you are passing request item number as an input. You can also get the output as well. So in the subflow, how do you get the output? So you have to create outputs here. You have to create output variables here. Is updated. True or false. Okay. So after updating it, what you have to do is, okay, action status is if it is successful, okay. If the update is successful, you can mark the you can use flow logic, set flow variables, not flow variables. Assign subflow outputs. Assign subflow outputs. I am just assigning is updated is equal to true. Is updated is equal to true. So in the else part, in the else part, okay, I am assigning the output if it is not updated successfully. If it is not updated successfully. So assign subflow outputs is updated is false. Okay, just publish this one. Okay, likewise, you can pass is updated value here. So in this flow designer, you can get the output as is updated. Update request item. Let me just refresh this one. So do you understand the difference between actions and subflows, guys? You can see is updated output you are getting here. Is updated. So here you are passing input as requested item, you are getting output as is updated. Okay. So likewise, you can call the actions in the flow designer, you can call the subflows in the flow designer. Okay. So now we'll go to the flow designer here. If you want to directly call this flow designer, if you want to directly call this subflow, okay. So what you can do is you can directly call this subflow in the using script as well. So what you can do is you can just go to the create code snippet using this line of script. Using this line of script, you can directly call the subflow in any server-side script. You can directly call this subflow in any server-side script, guys. If you want to call this subflow from the client side, you have to use this line of script. Okay, you have to use this line of script if you want to call the subflow from the client side. Okay, getting my point. So you have to go to create code snippet. Click on three dots, create code snippet. So if you want to call the flow designer using script, you have to click on these three dots. You can just click on create code snippet. So using this line of script, you can call the flow designer directly from any server side script. Okay. Well, the last but not least, guys. So here we have in the workflow.scratchpad.variable to carry the value from one activity to another activity. To carry the value from one activity to another activity, we use workflow.scratchpad.variable name. But here in the flow designer, we have called flow variables. Okay, you can see flow variables. So you can create a flow variable. You can access this flow variable throughout flow designer. Okay. So let us take, I'm just giving my name. So my name is actually, my name is a string. Okay. So you have created a flow variable. That flow variable you can access throughout the flow designer. Throughout the flow designer, you can just edit flow. You can click on this one, flow logic, set flow variables, set flow variables. So here I am selecting my name, Uday Gadiparthi. I can access this flow variable in any action in the flow designer. I can access this flow variable in any action in the flow designer. Suppose if I want to access the flow variable here. Okay. In place of this particular short description, a laptop request, I want to keep my name. Then I can just drag this one. I'm able to access the flow variable something like this one. Instead of using workflow.scratchpad.variable name here, we'll use flow variables. We will assign the values to the flow variables and we can access the flow variables throughout the flow design. Okay. So this is completely about flow designers, guys. Okay. So guys, if you guys have any questions and if you have any questions regarding interviews or resumes or interview questions, you can personally call me. You can contact me, or you can directly come down to the office so that we can discuss here. Okay. So any doubts regarding today's session, everyone?
Today
So
is
this
last
will be our
session.
last session, guys. This will be our last session.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. In Flow Designer, if any error comes in between, we
Hmm.
used to create fallout for that one.
Mm.
And that one,
So
like if
here
any,
you have flow executions here. So here you can see executions, where you can just go through the execution, you can understand what exactly went wrong. So there you have to, based on the error that you received, you have to modify the flow designer. You understand my point?
yeah,
So whenever the flow designer is hit, it will create an execution. So you can see execution here. So in the execution, whenever you open this execution, you will find out in which step what has happened and all. Okay. In which step what has happened and all. So based on the feedback that you received, you can actually modify the flow designer. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So guys, I would request you to revise these sessions 3 times. So for 8 a.m., how many sessions it is actually, guys? For 9:30, guys, like Ravi Kumar, I think Anusha, I think I don't know why you guys are continuing here for 1 or 2 sessions. Um, I think I think you guys have it is more sessions. Okay. For rest of the guys, for 8 a.m. guys, how many sessions it is, guys? 92.
92 around, yeah.
Oh my God. 92 sessions I completed. Huh? Okay. 92 means I've taken how many months?
4 months ago.
4 months, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
More
okay.
than 4.5.
Okay, but I can proudly say that this is actually um, one of the best batch where I have given all my knowledge. Okay, so Dikshit, knowledge management is a theoretical topic, guys. Okay, you can go through on your own. It's not a technical topic. So I would request you to go through these sessions 3 times, guys, at least. So be professional in every topic. You have to go through the sessions topic wise. You have to go through the sessions topic wise. So complete these sessions 3 times so that you will become a professional. Okay.
Uday, Ravi here. Some of the sessions for our batch it is repeated. I agree, but
Ravi, I'll discuss with you separately. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions from anyone, guys?
So, could you please tell about the ServiceNow certification?
So certification here in certification, we have to do it from official portal. That is actually Now Learning portal. In the Now Learning portal, like you have taken the course, so you have to take the course in the Now Learning portal. So in the Now Learning, it is actually on-demand course. On-demand course means you have to learn it on your own. Okay. So here it is trainer-led course. Trainer-led course means I have trained you. But here in the Now Learning portal, you have to complete the training on your own. You have to read the documents and you have to complete the course. So after completing the course, they will provide you a voucher. Okay. I think these days they are actually charging $600. Okay. So you have to spend,
$300.
$600. For course, you have to spend $300. For voucher, you have to spend again $300. Total $600. So after getting the voucher, you have to register for an exam in the web assessor portal. There is a portal called web assessor. Okay. So in this web assessor portal, you have to register yourself. So after registering yourself in the web assessor portal, you have to book a slot for your exam. So it can be online, it can be offline. So if it is online, you have to purchase an external camera so that you can complete the exam. If it is offline, you have to go down to the exam center and you have to take the exam center there. So it goes for 60 minutes. No, Charan, it is $300 only for $300 only for training and $300 for voucher.
No, actually, I completed recently only. I took only $300. I don't know, maybe different sometimes.
Is it?
Yeah. Recently, I completed administration, CSS.
You completed through company?
Yeah. But it shows $300 only to company also. Like my friend tried, one of my friend tried externally. For him also it showed $300.
You gave the exam?
Yeah, completed that.
Then it is good, na? $300 means.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. $600 means they will like it will be so much.
Yeah, definitely, Sneha. You can reach out me at any time. Okay.
So, can you provide any mock interview sessions like that?
Yes, for mock interviews, you can reach out admin. Okay. So,
Okay.
guys, I told you right in the beginning. So there is we have JavaScript complete videos, HTML, CSS videos. We have mock interview sessions. We have interview questions. We have ITYM recorded sessions. We have HRSD sessions. We have integration sessions. All together, we are doing as a package for 1,999. So I think you can get mock interviews as well as part of that package.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you can just personally call me and you can come down to the institute so that we can discuss here, guys. Okay, if you have any questions regarding interviews, any certifications and all. Okay, you can personally call me. Okay, guys, and all the best. And I wish you all the best, and I hope you'll definitely get the jobs in coming days. And if you get the job, and please let me know. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your support, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your support, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.